Welcome to Low Back Therapy. In this video, you'll learn how to align your body in the best possible way to help alleviate lower back pain. When the body is optimally aligned, then healing naturally occurs. Let's get started. Come to stand near a wall, about an arm's length away. Place your feet hip distance apart and parallel. Bring your hands together at your heart center, palms touching. Take a moment to connect with your breath and set an intention to dedicate this time to heal yourself. And then place your left palm flat on the wall and check that the wrist crease is parallel to the floor. Spread your fingers wide apart. Then inhale, lengthen the sides of the waist. Bring your left shoulder back, and then keeping the shoulder back, turn your body away from the wall until you feel a stretch on the inside of your left arm. Keep your thighs back and lengthen your tailbone down towards the heels. Now breathe into the sides of the waist, keeping your left shoulder back, and press into the wall. Now turn to the other side, placing your right hand at the wall. Spread the fingers. Take a breath and lengthen from waist to armpit. Right shoulder back, and then turn your body away from the wall. Then actively press through the bones of your right arm into the wall as you tilt the tops of the ears back and lengthen down through your tailbone. Coming to the first side, this time place the pinky finger side of your left hand onto the wall, slightly behind your left shoulder. Inhale, again, breathe into the sides of the lungs. Keep your left shoulder back and karate chop your left pinky finger into the wall. And then slowly turn away from the wall until you feel a stretch on the inside of your left shoulder. Keeping the legs strong, keeping the tailbone reaching towards the floor. Lengthen, again, breathe into the sides of the ribs. Keep your left shoulder back as you press your pinky finger into the wall. Turn to your right side. Place the right pinky finger at the wall behind your shoulder. Inhale, lengthen through the sides of the waist, sides of the neck, and bring your right shoulder back. Then turn away from the wall to get a deeper stretch in your right shoulder. Keep the thighs moving back and the tailbone reaching down as you press actively into your pinky finger. Now turn to face the wall with your fingertips on the wall slightly above your shoulders. Step your right foot forward and your left foot back, about 3.5 feet. Make sure both feet are parallel and you're pressing down actively through the four corners of both feet. Now engage the muscles of the legs and move the thighs back, especially the left thigh, and even widen the left thigh to the left. Keeping the ball of the right foot heavy, pull your outer right hip back. Stretch through the legs and lengthen through the spine. Now bend your right knee and step your left foot further back behind you. Reach back through the left heel to feel your left calf stretch. Keep pressing your fingertips into the wall, drawing the inner and outer shoulders back. Now step your left foot forward and your right foot back, keeping both legs straight and both feet parallel. Engage the muscles of the legs, move the thighs back and widen your right inner thigh to the right. Keeping the ball of the left foot heavy, pull your outer left hip back. Stretch through the legs and lengthen through the spine. Now bend your left knee, step your right foot further back behind you. Reach the right heel towards the floor even though it may not touch. Keep pulling your outer left hip back as you reach through the inner right leg. Keep pressing your fingertips actively into the wall so the shoulders stay back and the heart can release forward. Now step away from the wall with both feet parallel, hip distance apart. Walk your hands at the height of your hips. Make sure that the wrist creases are parallel and palms are flat. Now bend your knees and lift and spread all 10 of your toes. Keeping your legs bent, hug your feet towards each other and start to move the inner thighs back and apart. Keeping the thighs back, lengthen your tailbone and your sitting bones down towards your heels to stretch the spine. Press into the fingertips and then come to stand up. Take a block between your upper inner thighs. Stand with your feet parallel and sitting bones distance apart. Lift your toes and squeeze the muscles of the legs. Even bend your knees slightly and see if you can move the block back in space. Keeping the block back, lengthen your tailbone down towards the heels. Then bring the sides of the waist back, sides of the neck back, and root down through the legs as you stretch all the way up through the spine. Remove the block, and then come to stand on your mat. Come down to your hands and your knees, with your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide apart, and again check that those wrist creases are parallel. Inhale, arch the spine as you look up. Then exhale, round the spine looking towards your belly. Moving with the breath, inhale, arch, move your sitting bones back and wide. Exhale, round the spine, lengthening your tailbone towards the back of the knees. Again, inhale, arch, and exhale, flex. 2 more times like this. Inhale, arch the spine. Allow your upper spine to soften as you look all the way up. Exhale, round, look towards the belly, and see if you can get more of an arch in your lower back. Once again, inhale, arch, exhale, round. Now come to a neutral spine and extend your right leg back behind you with your toes pointing down. Slowly come onto your left fingertips and extend your left arm forward. From your pelvis, stretch out through the right inner heel and out through the left hand. Lower your right knee and your left hand down and extend your left leg back behind you. Flex the foot actively and spread your toes. Slowly come onto right fingertips, and when you feel steady, reach your right arm forward. Engage all the muscles of the legs and the arms, and then from the pelvis, stretch longer. Stretch your spine and reach your left leg back and your right arm forward. Release your leg and arm back down. Now spread your fingers wide. Press your fingertips and your index finger knuckles heavily into the earth. Lift your knees and press back into downward facing dog. Now bend your knees and hug your feet towards each other. Move your inner thighs back and widen your sitting bones apart, creating a deeper curve in your lumbar spine. Now stretch the legs straight by pressing the tops of the thighs back, and then extend down through the heels and through the spine. Release into child's pose. Lower your knees to the floor. Bring your feet together, knees apart, and sit back onto your heels. You can place your forehead onto a block or onto your hands as you rest your upper body. Feel free to take this pose whenever you need to. When you're ready, come back into downward facing dog. Walk your feet into touch. Lift your right leg back behind you. Flex the foot and spread the toes. Keep hugging your forearms towards each other. Then inhale, step your right foot between your hands for a lunge. You can lower your back knee to the floor, or you can keep it lifted. Your right leg should be at a right angle. Now squeeze your feet towards each other, lifting your back thigh up. Reach your right arm up towards the sky as you twist to the right. Stretch out through the legs as you lengthen all the way out through the crown of the head, twisting to the right. Keep both shoulders back. Release your right hand to the floor and step back again, downward facing dog. Inhale your feet together and lift your left leg behind you. Flex the foot, spread the toes, especially your pinky toes. Inhale your left foot forward, lunge. Exhale, pause. Engage the muscles of the legs by pulling your feet isometrically towards each other. Keep your back thigh lifted as you twist to the left, reaching your left arm up towards the sky. As you inhale, get longer through the spine. As you exhale, twist from your navel. Keep both shoulders back as you open your chest to the left. Inhale, the left hand back to the floor. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose, the top of a push-up. Lower your knees to the floor so you're in a long hands and knees position, with a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Keep your thighs lifted as you scoop your tailbone. look forward and bend the elbows, chaturanga. Release all the way onto your belly and point the feet. Spread all 10 of your toes and click the toes into the floor. Then inhale, curl up into cobra pose, pulling your chest forward. Exhale, release all the way back down. Tuck your toes under and press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, start to walk your feet forward towards your hand, coming into a standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Separate your feet, sitting bones distance apart and parallel, with an imaginary line drawn from the center of the ankle through the second toes. Bend your knees, lift and spread your toes. Pull your feet isometrically towards each other and move your inner groins and your inner thighs back and widen them apart. Then inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, keep your legs strong and engaged as you bow all the way back down. Again, inhale, look forward, stretch forward through your belly and chest. Exhale, melt all the way back down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, keeping the tops of the thighs pressing back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Then exhale, release the arms. And interlace your fingers and press your palms up towards the sky. Keep the thighs back and the sides of the waist back as you stretch up and bend over towards the right. Press down through both legs as you lengthen through the sides of the waist, pressing out through the palms. Inhale, come all the way back up to center. Exhale, over to the left. Keeping both thighs back, stretch all the way up through the sides, out through the palms as you reach to the left. Inhale, come all the way back up center. Exhale, release the arms. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Release your hands. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way back down over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, pressing the tops of the thighs back. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, step your left foot back behind you. Exhale, come onto your fingertips. Inhale your hands up onto your front thigh and pause. Now make the legs strong by scissoring them towards each other, lifting your back inner thigh up towards the sky. Try to keep the back thigh lifted as you lengthen your tailbone down, bringing your spine more upright. Then from the pelvis, root down through the legs as you reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. Inhale, pressing out through the legs, stretching long as you reach all the way up and spread your fingers. Place the hands back to the floor and step forward again, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step your right foot back, lunge. Inhale your hands up to your front thigh. And exhale, pause. Inhale, pull your feet towards each other, squeezing the muscle right above the right kneecap, lifting your back thigh. Try to keep the thigh lifted as you bring your pelvis and your spine more upright. Stretch out through the legs as you reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. Breathe into the sides of the waist, keeping the shoulders back as you lift all the way up through the crown of the head. Place the hands back down to the floor and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Shoulders right over your wrists. Exhale, lower your knees to the floor. Inhale, keeping the thighs back. Lengthen your tailbone down as you lower chaturanga. Point the feet and spread the toes. Press your pinky toes into the floor as you press down and curl up, cobra pose. Press your hands down and even drag them back to pull your lower back and your lower belly forward. Release all the way down and press back, downward facing dog. Lift your heels and step your right foot forward, lunge. Turn your back heel down so the back foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat. Inhale and windmill the arms all the way up to warrior two. Bend your right knee deeply and widen your right knee right over your second toe. Keep your left thigh back so the left femur bone lines up with your left ankle. Inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, reach out through the arms and bend your right knee deep. Inhale, straighten out your right leg and switch sides. Turn your left foot out and your right foot in and bend your left knee. Bend your left knee so the left thigh is close to parallel to the floor, widening the knee right over your second toe. Keep your right thigh back as you wrap your left hip under. Inhale, reach all the way out to the crown as you exhale and bend your left knee. Inhale, straighten out the left leg. Exhale, switch sides. Turn your right foot out, left foot in. Now bend your right knee and bring your right elbow to your right thigh, left hand to your hip. Keeping your left foot pressing into the floor, hug your left foot in as you lift your inner left thigh and widen it to the left. Wrap your right hip under, extend your left arm forward and draw the shoulder back. Now reach the left arm over your left ear. From the pelvis, stretch out through the legs and out through the spine. Inhale, straighten out the legs and switch sides. Bend your left knee, bring your left elbow to your left thigh, right hand to your hip. Turn your right thigh in, back, and wide, and then wrap your left hip under. Reach your right arm forward, draw the right shoulder back, and extend the right arm over your right ear. From the pelvis, stretch out through the legs, lengthen through the sides of the waist, turn your chest to the right. Spread your fingers wide apart as you bend the left knee deeply. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, parallel the outer edges of your feet with the outer edges of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips and fold forward halfway, bringing your fingertips to the floor underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees slightly, lift and spread your toes. Pull your feet towards each other, engaging the muscles of the legs. Move the inner thighs back and apart, getting a deeper curve in your lumbar spine. Now work to straighten the legs, and then once the legs are straight, root down through the bones as you allow your spine to release. Keep the muscles of the legs lifting up as you extend out through the bones. The more the legs will support you, the more the spine will soften. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Turn your right foot out, keeping your back foot parallel to the back edge of your mat. Bring your right hand to the floor or to your right shin for a triangle pose, Trikonasana. Keep engaging the muscles of the legs as you move the thighs back. Wrap your right hip under, then press out through the bones of the legs as you stretch through the spine. Turn your head, even turn your chest to the left. Breathing deeply. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, switch sides. Turn your left foot out, right foot parallel. Bring your left hand to your left shin or to the floor behind your left shin. Turn the inner thighs back and wide, and then lengthen your tailbone and your sitting bones towards your back heel. Breathe into the sides of the waist. Bring both shoulders back and turn everything to the right. Spread the fingers wide apart. Press into the legs and then inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, parallel the edges of the feet to the short sides of the mat once again. Interlace the fingers behind the back, palms facing each other. Now inhale, lift up through the sides of the ribs, draw the shoulders back. Keeping the shoulders back, bow forward between the legs. Try to stretch the arms straight and reach the arms up over the head and towards the floor in front of you, making sure to keep the shoulders back. Keep engaging the legs. Press down through the legs as you inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And then either step or hop the feet together. Come back to the front edge of your mat. Now bend both knees and bring the elbows to the thighs. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Lift all 10 of your toes off the floor and squeeze your legs towards each other, making sure to keep your knees as wide as your ankles. Allow your inner thighs to flow towards the floor as you create a deeper curve in your lower back. Now lengthen the tailbone to lengthen that curve and reach the arms up towards the sky. place the hands to the floor and straighten the legs. Now take your feet mat width apart, turn them out slightly, and drop your hips down to a squat, malasana. If your heels don't come easily down towards the floor, you can roll up a blanket or your mat and place it underneath your heels. Allow your pelvis to get heavy. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and use your upper arms to press your knees apart. Release onto your seat and place your feet in front of you, sitting bones distance apart, parallel. Hold the back of the thighs and start to tilt back onto your sitting bones for Navasana, boat pose. Lift your shins parallel to the floor. You can either stay here or extend the arms straight alongside the legs. Keep reaching up through the sides of the waist, stretching your spine as straight as possible, and then optionally you can straighten the legs to make it more challenging. Release the feet down. Place the hands behind you about 6 to 8 inches, fingers pointing forward. Spread the fingers, bend the elbows. Inhale, lengthen the sides. Keep your shoulders back and then lift your hips up towards the sky. Inner thighs flowing down, outer hips lifting up. And then release all the way back down. Tuck your toes under and bring your knees to the floor in front of your feet. Keep your heels and your big toe mounds touching to get a deep stretch at the soles of your feet. This can be intense, so move slowly. And then slowly shift the weight back onto your heels. Make sure that the heels are together and that the toes are flexed and tucked under. Then straighten the legs and fold forward, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Feet hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Engage the muscles of the legs. Press the tops of the thighs back and reach down through the heels. Inhale, lift your right leg back behind you. Flex the foot. This time, open up your right hip. Keep the forearms hugging in and the upper arms lifting up. Bend your right knee. Bring your right knee forward for pigeon prep. Bring your right knee to the right side of your mat so both hips are facing forward. Keep your back toes tucked under so the lower leg is hugging in towards the midline. Bow forward over your front shin. Keep your legs engaged by hugging your knees towards each other. Then lengthen the tailbone down and release your upper body down. You can place your forehead on the floor or on your hands. Stretch out through the legs as you allow your upper spine to soften. Keep your lower leg hugging in towards the midline and widen your left inner thigh to the left. Stretch out through the legs as you breathe. Keep your low belly toned as you soften right between the shoulder blades. Walk your hands all the way back and in and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg behind you. Flex the foot, spread the toes, and open up your left hip. Keep your arms strong, both upper arms and armpits lifting away from the floor. Bend your left knee, and then bring your left knee right behind your left wrist for pigeon prep. Hug your knees energetically towards each other so the back thigh lifts up. Then lengthen the tailbone down, walk your hands forward, and release your upper body. You can place your hands stacked with your forehead on your hands, or you can release your body all the way down towards the floor. Keep widening your right inner thigh to the right as you wrap your left hip under. Stretch out through the legs and breathe. Keep melting your upper back towards the earth. Walk your hands all the way back and in and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Keep your thighs lifted, tailbone scooping down, and then lower all the way down to the floor. Clasp your hands in front of you with your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Flex your feet, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips and your thighs parallel to the floor for dolphin plank. Keep your legs strong with the inner thighs spiraling up and the tailbone lengthening towards the heels. Keep the sides of the waist lifted, stretch, and then release all the way back down. Cross your left forearm in front of the chest and bend your right knee. Reach back with your right hand and find your foot. Pull your foot towards your outer right hip. Keep pressing your right knee down and forward to keep the right thigh back. Try to keep both hip points on the floor as you spread your right toes and kick your foot back energetically into your hand. Release your right leg. Cross your right forearm in front of the chest and bend your left knee. Find your foot. Pull your foot towards the outer left hip, stretching the front of the left thigh. Keep spreading your left toes, kicking your foot energetically back into your hand as you pull your foot closer towards the floor. Keep lifting the right side of your chest as you push your left knee down and forward. Release your left leg. Place your head to the floor and turn your head to one side. Breathe here and relax. Now bend both knees. Flex the feet and press the knees down and forward, dragging them forward so the hips lift up. Then reach back and find both feet. Keep your toes spread. Holding the tops of the feet, press your feet back into your hands to lift your chest. Lift your chest higher, lift your legs higher, keeping your thighs parallel to each other and the thighs rotating in. Release. Turn your head to the other side. Rest here and even shift your hips gently from side to side to release your lower back. Once again, bend your knees. Press your knees down and drag them forward to get the thighs to move back. Then find your feet with your hands. Kick your feet back into your hands, lifting up into bow pose, Dhanurasana. Spread your toes and reach back with the pinky toes. Lift up one more breath, and then exhale, release. Turn your head to the other side and shift your hips gently from side to side. Turn onto your back, setting up for bridge pose. Bend your knees, place the feet on the floor hip distance apart and parallel with your feet directly underneath your knees. Bend the elbows by the sides with the palms facing each other. Press the four corners of your feet down and lift your hips up. Isometrically, drag your feet towards your head without moving them. Then lengthen your tailbone up towards the back of the knees as you stretch out through the legs and down through the feet. Press the shoulders back, head back, and then release all the way down. Allow your knees to fall in towards each other, separating your feet slightly. Rest your hands on your belly and breathe. Second bridge pose. Place your feet, sitting bones distance apart, parallel. Bend the elbows. Press the four corners of both feet down as you lift your hips up. This time, optionally, you can clasp the hands underneath you, interlacing the fingers for a deeper shoulder stretch. Rock from side to side to wedge the shoulders underneath you as much as possible. Press the arms down, press the head back. Press your feet down as you lift up through the chest, through the outer hips, and release all the way back down. Relax your hands. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, flexing your right foot. Hold the back of the left thigh with both hands, interlacing the fingers. Flex both feet actively and widen your right knee to the right. Try to keep the natural curve in your spine by reaching your sitting bones towards the floor. You should feel this in your right hip. You can even use your right elbow to widen your right knee to the right. Release the left foot down and allow both knees to fall to the right side. Use your right foot to press down onto the left thigh as you resist it by pressing the left thigh up against the foot. Turn your head to the left and reach the left side of your chest and the left shoulder towards the floor. As much as you press down with the right foot, lift up with the left thigh. Lift the legs back up to center and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Interlace the hands behind the right thigh. As you bring your right thigh closer towards your chest, widen your left knee to the left. Keep the feet flexed, pinky toes spreading wide, as you push your right thigh into your hands and widen your left knee to the left. Keep the shoulders back, sides of the neck back, as you reach your sitting bones towards the floor. Release the right foot back down and allow both knees to fall to the left this time. Pressing your left foot down into the right thigh, lift the thigh up against the foot. Turn your head to the right. Broaden the right side of your chest and the right shoulder to the right and down. Stretch out to the right knee and breathe. Release the left foot. And then inhale. Bring the legs back up to center and extend the legs straight. Flex the feet. Press the heels down and the tops of the thighs down. Keeping the left thigh down, bring your right knee into your chest, interlacing the hands behind the right thigh. Extend the right leg straight, reaching the sole of the right foot towards the sky. Try to keep pressing both thighs back, reaching the left thigh towards the floor and the right thigh into your hands. Keep lengthening and breathing into the sides of the waist, pressing the shoulders back. Bend your right knee and allow the right knee to fall over towards the left side, rolling onto the left side of your hip. Twist to the right. You can bring your arms out to the sides or into cactus pose. Lengthen your right hip away from your right shoulder as you release the right shoulder back. Make sure the spine is straight here and the pelvis isn't tucked under. Inhale, come back up to center and extend the right leg straight. Pressing the thighs down towards the floor, bring your left knee into your chest, interlace the hands behind the left thigh, and then extend the left foot straight up to the sky. Pushing both thighs away from you, try to press the right thigh flush with the floor and the left thigh into your hands. Reach out to the legs as you stretch long. Keep the shoulders back, head back. Now bend your left knee, roll onto your right side as you twist over to the left. Lengthen the left hip down away from the left shoulder and left shoulder back. Turn your head to the left so you get a deep twist all the way out through the crown of the head. With every exhale, allow your spine to twist even deeper. Inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, bring both knees into the chest. As you hug your knees into the chest, rock from side to side, or you can make small circles on your sacrum, massaging the lower back. Then hold the front of both knees with each hand. Spread the toes, engage the legs, and then press the knees into the hands as you bring the neutral curve back into your spine. Place your feet flat on the floor and use the hands to press the tops of the thighs back to release your lower back. Then release the legs and come into Shavasana, final relaxation. Allow your legs to separate, hip distance apart or slightly wider, with the feet turned out naturally. Bring your arms slightly away from the sides of the body with the palms facing up. Feel the thigh bones settle back deeply into the hip sockets, the pelvis heavy grounded. Allow the shoulders to release back and the head to get very heavy. Feel all of your bones earthy, grounded, weighty, as you release back into the support of the ground beneath you. Feel the muscles fall away from the bones towards the earth. Allow your skin to soften. Relax the muscles of your face, forehead softening, jaw released. Feel the eyeballs move back towards the back of the eye sockets. The skull release heavily back. Feel the skin on the sides of the neck release. Your whole body fully relaxed, assimilating all the benefits of this practice today, making you stronger, more flexible, and more aligned than before. When you're ready, begin to deepen your breath. Gently start to awaken the body, wiggling fingers, toes, and moving, stretching in any way that feels natural. Bend your knees into your chest and roll to your right. Rest on the right side for a moment, trying to maintain that heavy, relaxed feeling. When you're ready, use your arms to press up. Come back to a seated position. Once you've found your seat, place your hands together in front of your heart. Bow down to the recognition of your innate capacity for self-healing and honor yourself for making this investment in your well-being. We give thanks to all those people that have supported us, guided us, and inspired us to take this time today. Namaste.